June 4, 1943. Railroad Street, Mexia, Texas. Through the window of a Pullman train, German officer Unteroffizier Burkhardt stared out into the dark. But this darkness wasn't dark at all. Lights, electric lights, shimmered across the Texas plains. Every farmhouse, every street, every store window glowed brightly, long past midnight. In Germany, blackout laws had smothered the night since 1940. Rural areas were nearly pitch black, yet here, in so-called decadent America, electricity flowed like water. When Burkhardt and 1,800 fellow Afrika Korps prisoners stepped off the train, they were stunned, not by hostility, but by the sight of abundance. Just weeks earlier, on May 13, 1943, General Jürgen von Arnim had surrendered in Tunisia. Nearly 275,000 Axis soldiers laid down their arms, one of the largest mass surrenders in history. Among them was Heidemann Friedrich Radke, who kept a secret diary. In it, he described a growing confusion, the first cracks in faith, not in God, but in the Reich. At the Allied camps in Algeria, the Germans were processed in hours, photographed, vaccinated, and fed. White bread, real coffee, meat twice a day. At first, they thought it was a trick, American propaganda. But it wasn't. This was standard U.S. Army rations. Their journey across the Atlantic brought a new shock. The Liberty ships that carried them, each built in as little as 4 days, seemed impossible. Yet the U.S. was launching 3 every day. Feldwebel Kurt Zimmermann noticed something else. The crew threw away more food in a day than his unit had eaten in a week. He wrote, "They waste because they have so much. This waste means nothing to them." The myth of a starving, broken America was dying before their eyes. When their ship docked at Norfolk, Virginia, disbelief turned to awe. A sea of cranes, endless cargo. One prisoner wrote, "This port handles more freight in a day than Hamburg in a week." But the biggest shock, automobiles. Hundreds of them. Dockworkers, ordinary men, drove their own cars to work. In Germany, only the elite owned such luxury. The prisoners boarded trains, expecting boxcars. Instead, air-conditioned Pullman coaches with dining cars, silverware, and soft seats. They pressed their faces to the glass, staring out as America rushed by, towns, factories, glowing cities that never slept. An engineer whispered, "One rail yard here uses more electricity in an hour than Berlin in a day." By the time they reached Texas, they knew the truth: Germany could never defeat a country like this. Camp Hearn, Texas. Built in 4 months. Electrified, heated, with hot showers and proper kitchens. Dr. Friedrich Bauer, a German army surgeon, was stunned. "They have penicillin," he wrote. "We barely have aspirin." Even the food shocked them. They ate better in captivity than at home in wartime Germany. "We threw away more food than my family had seen in years," one prisoner admitted. Soon, they were put to work. On Texas farms, they saw machines harvest in hours what took German villages a month. In American factories, elderly men and women operated machines with ease, producing more in a day than entire divisions in Germany. At Republic Steel, a single plant made more metal than the whole Ruhr region. They realized something the Nazis had never told them: diversity and freedom had made America strong. Christmas 1943. American churches sent 500,000 packages to German POWs, cigarettes, sweets, and cards. At Camp Hearn, locals sang carols in German. An officer wrote, "They know we are their enemies. Yet they show us kindness." What kind of people treat enemies this way? For many, that night broke the last threads of Nazi faith. By 1944, U.S. officers began re-education programs. Prisoners studied English, democracy, and watched Hollywood films, even those critical of America itself. One POW wrote, "They show their failures. That honesty makes them stronger." When newsreels showed the D-Day invasion, thousands of ships, planes, and soldiers, the camps fell silent. It was over. They knew Germany was finished. Then came the ultimate shock, footage from the concentration camps. Some refused to believe it. But when letters from home confirmed it, they wept. "We thought we were fighting for civilization," one wrote. "We learned we were its destroyers." Yet the Americans did not seek vengeance. Instead, they offered education and forgiveness. By 1946, over 370,000 German POWs had lived in America. Only a handful ever tried to escape. Many later returned, as immigrants, engineers, even diplomats. They carried home a new lesson, that prosperity is born from freedom, not conquest. At a 1985 reunion, one former prisoner said, "We came to America as Nazis, and left as Democrats." America's greatest weapon was not its bombs, but its kindness. As the trains rolled into Texas in 1943, those men thought they were superior. But what they saw in the light of America showed them a greater power, the power to create, not destroy.